this is a DrumWise Meets, and today I'm with a drummer who's worked with Jason Aldean for 20 years. This is DrumWise Meets Rich Redmond. Hi, Rich.
What's up? How are you doing? Thanks for having me across the pond here, man. Great.
What age did you get into drums? And when you first started playing, what bands inspired you?
Yeah. I think I saw some of my Ted Reed syncopation books and my stick control books. A student took, I think, one of the original copies, but I remember seeing like a date from like 1976, 1977. So this was like the Paleolithic era, like man was starting to walk upright back then. But no, I think I was, I think around 6 or 7 years old. And I was, like most kids in that era, I was into like Kiss and Queen and, larger than life bands that mixed, comic books and rock and roll,
Mm. Excellent. Good stuff. And when you first started, what was your first drum set?
There was this no-name blue sparkle snare drum that I think a lot of drummers say, man, I wish I had held on to my first drum, but I needed the rent money that month and I had to sell my first snare drum. And then I had some no-name like brown bass drum with a squeaky pedal and this little cracked cymbal. And I was like playing like to these Kiss records and Queen records. And I had the Joel Rothman book, the encyclopedia of rock and roll drumming. That might have been the Bible of rock and roll drumming. And Joel Rothman's still at it. I don't know if you use any of his books there at the school, but he's got like 100 books.
Yeah. And your first drum set, then, do you still have any of it?
Nah. I don't know what happened. But the first drum set the first remarkable drum set where it was like, wow, thanks, Dad. It was like this. It was a Yamaha cherry red stage custom, and this was like pre-recording custom. The recording customs might have been out, but this would have been around like 80 or 82. And so I'd come home every day and it was like big sizes, like 13, 14, 18, 24-inch kick drum. I'm like, yeah. And, I was playing in the jazz band and the pep band, but I also had like heavy metal bands and like cool, like prog projects and stuff. And I don't have that either. I needed the rent that month too, but I made up for it later, with Sonar. I was with Sonar for like about 10 years and I've been with DW for about 10 years as well. And we know their reputation as a drum manufacturer. Pretty amazing.
So I was going to get on to, what's your current setup? So, not just drums, talk to us about what you would normally use when you're out playing.
I mean, DW, let's face it, man. That's a dream. That company started in a garage and now they are leading the industry. Wonderful people. Sabian cymbals for a long time. God, Sabian since like 2004, I think. So that's coming up. Maybe I'll get like a watch or something. I don't know. And then ProMark, a very long time. I have some signature sticks with them. God, Remo since 1995. Just awesome drum heads. LP, Humes and Berg, all like family businesses, started by families, family owned. Pretty incredible. And really, I'm there because everybody makes great stuff these days, but I'm there because of the people, and the relationship.
Yeah, good stuff. Now,
Roland too. I've noticed you got these awesome new Roland drums. I'm gonna have to like ring them up and go like, what's that gonna set me back?
Yeah, can't go wrong with a Roland, definitely. Now, some people have found this a tough one, so here we go. But I mean, I don't want to make your life easy, Rich. So let's see. So I'd find this hard to answer myself. But if you had to pick just one, who would be your all-time favorite drummer?
That's so hard, and I'm not going to be able to do it because what it's going to be? It would be like one of those like hydras from like a Godzilla movie. It would be a mashup of Gene Krupa for his musicianship, his charisma and stage antics. Equally so, it would be Carmine Appice for his charisma, musicianship, and stage antics. It would be Stuart Copeland for his globally visionary, like army brat, traveled the world. So I'll take some from this country and that country and mix it with reggae and punk. Unbelievable. And then, of course, I would say the power and the arena showmanship of Kenny Aronoff. So it would be like, I don't know how you would come up with the name for it. It's like if two celebrities are dating, like Bennifer. I don't know if it's going to work, but I love all those guys, and that's why I encourage my students to like find guys that resonate with them and steal all that stuff. And when we steal that stuff, then we can make our own bag of tricks. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, great answer. Excellent. But yeah, totally. That's kind of what I'm aiming at for that question, because it's so hard to pick just one, because we're influenced by so many people. From when we first start and as we get older, and we just draw on those influences, don't we? So it's really hard to pick just one. So yeah, totally get it.
Yeah, and I mean, how could you not like Nigel Olsson for playing a ballad, or for Elvin Jones? Because when Elvin Jones plays, you hear a symphony orchestra and his cymbals, and you hear like Mother Africa in the background, and if you hear Jeff Porcaro, the beauty of the right hand, and John Robinson, the precision and the lope of the hi-hat, and you just Hal Blaine, the toms, it's like I'm just getting goosebumps talking about these people, because they're all such unique artists, and I just like that. And yeah, I celebrate all that stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, another one that some people have found difficult: what's been the highlight of your career so far?
Wow. I appreciate my career more and more as I age, because when we're younger, we just want to push and push and push. And what can we accomplish? I'm just full of vinegar, I'm just moving forward. And then sometimes when you get to about midlife, you start looking back and you go like, oh my God, I realized my childhood bedroom dreams. We put in these tens of thousands of hours with a smile on our face. We give ourselves hernias from lifting B3 organs and 24-inch kick drums. But it's always great to be able to hear yourself on the radio. You're in an elevator, you're in a supermarket. It's always great to have your parents be able to see you on TV. Hey, I'm playing Jimmy Kimmel tonight, or we're doing the Grammys, and then I would say Madison Square Garden and the Hollywood Bowl. It's like you got both coasts represented there. So you got some snobby New Yorkers, and you got some snobby Angelinos, and you get them out and you get them packed into a place, and they get a little buzz going on, and and you can change their lives. You could take them away from their problems for just a little bit. And it's such a special calling. It's really amazing. We're doing more than just playing the drums. We're affecting people. We're entertaining people. We're changing lives. And you, as an educator, that's one of the greatest callings you can have in life, is to be a teacher and have a teacher's heart. So I salute you for doing that.
Well, thank you very much. So from career highlights to maybe the other end of the scale with things a bit, have you ever had anything go wrong on stage, whether it be brain fails or gear fails, that you can tell us about?
Yeah, the things that I worry about I have a sensitive stomach, really sensitive, right? So, Rich is lactose intolerant. So like on show day, he's got to really avoid these things. And anybody that's done any touring knows is that a lot of the outdoor shows are happening in the summer. So you're playing like May, June, July, August, and it's 110 degrees with 100% humidity on stage in St. Louis with fire and confetti and dry ice. And it's like doing hot yoga, for 90 minutes, playing the drums in a hot yoga studio. So that will really gurgle up your stomach. And sometimes you gotta hold that thing for 90 minutes. So that's always awkward, just like this part of the conversation. But then there's some things will happen, like when your drum tech, not to pass the buck, but if he has like the wrong tempo stored, right? It's 5 beats faster than what the song is supposed to be. It's like, you're like, oh my God, that's way too fast. And you make the adjustment right away, but you get that little look from the band and you're like, sorry. But then, none of those 20,000 people really know, unless they're just like nerdy guys like, oh, Mike Portnoy wouldn't do that, but you just get through these things. You got to think on your feet and just make it happen.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, talking about, learning new material here, obviously you've been with Jason Aldean for some time, but, when new material comes up, let's say you're not writing it and you're being asked to play something, how do you learn it? So do you just go on Spotify and just have a listen. Do you have a listen and transcribe stuff? Or does it ever happen where they go, here you go, Rich, here's a whole massive A4 folder of drum music for you to read through?
Yeah, great question. And you know, in my teaching, I try to cover all that because I've done all of it. I've done the real book jazz gigs. I've done the fully transcribed, like reading cinematic scores. I've done the big band, you know, where you're up there with your tuxedo and it's like chart number 1998, and you pull it up and it's a samba in 5/4 and you're sight reading. Done that, and then also the situations where, you know, a cover band calls you and you got to know 60 songs by tomorrow, which means I do my little Betty Crocker recipe cards and I have a system for really accurately what's the subdivision, what's the feel, what's the BPM, what's the form, intro, verse one, pre-chorus, chorus. I can chart it all out. And then there's the transcription stuff. And for your listeners, if they want to go to richredmond.com, I got a free gift for everyone. Just go to the shop icon, and I got about 10 PDFs full of completely transcribed every Jason Aldean song I've ever played on. So like over 100 songs. And there's this pop country group called Thompson Square. I played on 2 #1 songs for them. So those are all transcribed. So you can just have those. You just download them for free. And then in Nashville, we have the Nashville number system. So if anybody kind of wants to work with that, my good buddy, Jim Riley, who just took the job as the drum set instructor at Belmont University, I'm very proud of him. He wrote the book on the Nashville number system, and that's basically outlines the harmonic structure of a song. There's no drum notation at all. You just have to be able to, you know, watch the chord structure go by and then have a deep gut instinct of what to play as a drummer. So right up the street here on Music Row in Nashville, there is a drummer that's doing a session, reading a number chart, recording the next #1 song. So that's what I encounter a lot is the number charts, but I live and die by phrase charts. And so my phrase charts are those little Betty Crocker charts that you can kind of tape to your hi-hat stand or the kick drum rim, and no one knows you're reading and you are just nailing the arrangement.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah, good advice. And we did one of these with Jim, and yeah, he also talked about the Nashville number system. So here we are.
Yep, there we go. It's small world.
Yeah. So a couple of curveball questions for you now, Rich. First one of those is, what are your hobbies, apart from setting up Big Ben and phone boxes behind you?
I just saw that. I just had to do it.
What are your hobbies away from drums?
Man, that's a good question. You know, music and the music life is so consuming. I'm always so impressed with people that have like they find time to cut the lawn and they've got like multiple kids and they're family men and they just, I don't know how they bet, because this thing is so consuming for me. But I like all the F's. I like food, fashion, film. You know, I love all that stuff. So like tonight, I already told myself, you are sitting down tonight. You're gonna finally watch that Sound of Metal. You know, it's about this guy that loses his hearing in a rock band, and it got nominated for all the SAG awards. So I love a good film. I love a good horror film. I also run. In COVID, I ran 1,000 miles. I run about 5 miles a day, and it's very great because it's great for your circulation. It's great for your muscle tone, weight management, gives you energy, and it prepares you for the stage. Because let's face it, if you know, I'm not playing in a wedding band. I'm playing in a high energy band with a bunch of middle-aged guys that try to, like, you know, act 18. And so that you have to work out to be able to pull that off on a regular basis. And I love friends, I love family, all that kind of stuff, a good book. So I just try to stay kind of well-rounded as a human being and kind of keep growing in all areas of my life. I wish I could tell you it was like, yeah, I'm a fisherman, or like I do ships in a bottle, you know.
That's cool. And actually that question has come from the fact that when I started all these interviews, I thought, well, hang on a minute, drums for all of us, whether we like it or not, started as a hobby. And,
right.
You know, we've obviously just worked on it to a point where it becomes our career in one way or another, whether it's teaching, playing, all those things. So, but I still think it can be a hobby, even if it pays the bills, because if it's something that we love doing, then, you know, it can be both things, can't it?
Totally. Yes. Yeah. If you don't, I mean, there's easier ways to make a living, so you really have to love it. And as you progress in your career, it's the goal is to hold on to that childlike energy and try to remember why you got into it in the first place. And when I was like watching MTV and like, I was like, oh my God, what is this Ronnie James Dio guy? This is incredible. Vinny Appice. And this little guy singing about dragons and monsters. I was like, I want to do that. And I was watching the Synchronicity concert on MTV. It started as a hobby, yes, but I just knew as a young man, I was like, I am going to do this. That was just kind of like my personality. But, a school like yours is a great thing because not everybody is going to go into the arts as full time, but there's so many benefits. There's health benefits, mental benefits. You learn how to work on a team. You learn self-discipline and persistence. And you could take all those things with you, though. These benefits of music education are vast.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, on to the most anticipated question of this interview series. And that is, what's your favorite cookie?
Oh, it would be a toss-up between a sugar and a peanut butter.
Okay.
If you had a well, there's sugar in the peanut butter. A good cookie it's like the perfect dessert. It really is. It's portable. You can eat it cold, you can eat it hot. It's great. So
for us that are over here in the UK, what's a sugar cookie? Like,
oh, it's like a snickerdoodle. It's just probably got like milk, sugar, and more milk and fat in it. And it's just shaped like a cookie, but it's just all the good stuff in life and one,
Okay. And if you were to take your sugar or your peanut butter cookie, are you a dunker?
Oh yeah, especially a store-bought cookie. Like, I don't know if you guys have that over there, but Nutter Butters. Do you have Nutter Butters?
No.
They're shaped like little peanuts, and so it's so cute. It's like a little peanut-shaped thing, and it's got this strip of peanut butter. It's totally got all the bad stuff: high fructose corn syrup, all the bad stuff. But dipping it in milk. And I'm lactose intolerant. Of course, I learned that the hard way, and so now I'm like a almond milk, coconut milk guy, and the colder the better.
Okay. Cool. I've got to try that. I've been told that having these different milks in coffee is the way forward.
Yeah. I like a good flavored creamer, like a hazelnut or something like that. I'm a sucker for it, but it does add a lot of calories to your coffee. Sometimes it's just good to have a black coffee, and so I have that Nespresso. We're becoming such yuppies. I've got like 4 different coffee makers. I got the drip, I got the Keurig, I got the Nescafe, I got the French press, and it's like, it depends on what kind of like hipster you want to be that day.
Yeah, totally. So on to my final question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, so when you started playing drums or when you started taking it, seriously, what would that advice be?
As far as my musical path, I'm pretty happy what I did because like Jim Riley and a lot of my friends that you've had on, we studied the xylophone and the timpani and the classical percussion, and there's so many positive takeaways of that you can transfer over to playing drum set. And then playing drum set, I'm so glad I did the pep band and the jazz band and the fusion ensemble and played world music. And even if you're not like great at all that stuff, or you're not like totally want to go in that direction full time, it comes into your bag of tricks. It makes you sound different from the other guy, So I think I did that right. There's some other things I probably could have done differently in my life, marriages and stuff, but that gets really heavy, and the sun is shining today and we don't want to do that. We don't want to go into all that.
So let me change it slightly then and say, if you were, because obviously I know you teach as well, so if you were to give one piece of advice to a drummer just starting out that's not you, what would that advice be?
Rudiments, reading, coordination, styles, click, percussion. I've done so much teaching. I just break it down. I'm like, look, you got to have the rudiments. That's the scales of drumming. Your technique is going to determine the kind of tone you produce. The tone you produce is going to help your musicianship and how you get your great sound on the instrument. You've got to be able to do 4 things at the same time. Once you learn how to do that, you got to learn your styles so you can be a versatile working drummer. Even just to be a wedding drummer, you start with, you're starting with salad jazz and you work your way into Motown, and then by the end of the night you're into disco and Iggy Azalea, and that takes a very versatile drummer just to do a wedding job. So doing that, and then of course playing with click tracks is paramount now, and then you might as well learn percussion, because let's face it, I'll do recording sessions and I get paid double because I can double on percussion. And really all you got to do is pick up a tambourine, some maracas, learn some basic tumbao patterns, and learn how to play pop percussion and layer your track. And then another thing that's probably good to have in your bag of tricks is just kind of being fearless, like about letting the world know you exist, and don't be afraid to shout from a mountaintop, hey, I exist. I am worthy. I am special. I can help you play your music, not in an arrogant way, but just like be willing to put yourself out there. So, because my goal is to get behind a set of drums every day. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but really out of all that, the most important thing, really that's the backbone of my entire philosophy of teaching, is reading music. When you can read music, you empower yourself to be able to take any book. I want to work on the drum styles of Zeppelin or Rush or the Police. And there's books on the stuff. And when you can read it, you can put it into your bag of tricks. You can also attract more opportunities to yourself because you can learn songs quicker. And when you learn songs quicker, you can be in 17, 18, 19 bands at the same time, right? And then you're waiting to see which one of these bands is going to pop. And that's what I did coming up. And it was because of reading music. I can't imagine being a rote player. Now, I will say there's some amazing people out there that have changed the world of drumming. I don't think Dave Grohl reads music. Who cares? The guy's got so much fire, so much musicianship, so much uniqueness, such a nice guy, changed the world as a drummer, then changed the world as a front man. That's the exception to the rule, though. I think us mere mortals should learn how to read music, because it will make a difference in your career. And that's why they come to DrumWise.
So, Rich, thank you so much for spending your time with us at DrumWise today. It really has been a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. It looks like you've got an amazing thing there. And when this all goes away and I can get across the pond, I sure hope to come there in person.